Hey, welcome back. Module 4, finding your buyer. So my name is Cheryl Brown. By now, you've already been through 3 modules, so you probably know this information by heart. But I am the director of the North San Diego SBDC, part of the San Diego and Imperial Valley SBDC network, where we have 9 service centers and over 120 various advisors to help support you, the small business, be successful as you grow and manage and run your business. Today's module, okay, I gotta say, oops, my favorite. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. You may want to rewatch this module as many times as you want, because this is where we really start doing some fun show and tells, if you will. So it's my favorite module. Remember step 1, finding your buyer? Well, this module is all about how you can find your buyer. So if we revisit, remember your role here is to become the mediator between all of the different people within the agency, but mainly focusing in on the buyer. Now, one of my favorite things about government contracting is that it's all public record. You just need to know where to look for it. So it's not like if you wanted to find the buyer, say for Amazon, you would have to dig and dig and dig. And then even then you probably wouldn't be able to get their phone number or their email address unless you knew someone or something like that, or you paid for like a service to get that information. But with government contracting, it's all public record. You just need to know where to find it. So remember, we are focusing in on the buyer and no other entities or no other people at this point. So here's the dirt. Not all small business programs or departments or advocacy programs have influence on the buyer. That's the cold hard truth. Really, the only, that I find that the most effective small business programs are the ones in which a responsibility of the individuals is to try and foster relationships within their own agency. And unfortunately, that's not typically part of their job description. So not all small business departments have influence. Also, because they're employed by the agency, the small business departments and the individuals involved are somewhat restricted as far as what they can and cannot tell you. Because if they told you, well, if they knew and they told you some of the dirt that we address here in these modules, that could be considered giving you an unfair advantage with that particular agency. And by the way, that's illegal. Regardless of what the end user wants, it's the buyer who ultimately decides what the end user gets. And as I mentioned in module 3, what to expect, oftentimes the end user has champagne taste, but they're on a beer budget. And so it's important for us as a small business to understand the role that the buyer has and learn how we can, become the mediator, if you will, between the buyer and the end user. Always, always have your buyer's back. Regardless of how much the end user or small business wants to work with you, the buyer ultimately has the final decision. And as we learned in the last module, where you may not have believed me, but we did some demonstrating and I showed you in real life, real time, 90% of the contracts that get awarded, they actually don't go out for a full and open competitive bid. And those are going to be the opportunities that are going to be the best for small businesses. And so that's the reality. Now, the question I always get is, okay, great. You've said that a million times by now. How do I do this? How do I find the buyer? Well, let's play. We're going to do some live interaction using my best friend, Google. I know some of you may not like Google because they're spying on you and watching you and all that good stuff. Frankly, I love Google. I don't care if it spies on me. In fact, I feel like if I get lost, Google will find me. But in reality, in this environment, Google is going to be your friend. So we're going to do a couple of demonstrations, and feel free to pause, try it on your own, rewind, rewatch. I mean, this is really going to be the first step in being successful in this program. So without further ado, we're going to go into our internet, our World Wide Web. And we're going to go Google. So one of the agencies that I recommend that you definitely want to engage with, or at least do some research in finding your buyer, would be the state of California. The reason why is the state of California is one of those agencies that literally buys everything. So if the state of California isn't procuring your goods or your services, chances are nobody else is. Now, when we talked about what does the government buy, I did mention that they buy everything from beans to bullet, with the exception of luxury items or SEO services. So we're going to go into the state of California portal, and I'm going to show you a couple of tricks. So the state of California portal is called Cal eProcure. Now you could very easily, if you're not quite sure, if you don't remember this portal, you could also very easily Google search how to do business with the state of California and add the word purchasing. And that's also going to take you right to the portal that you want to be in. Mind you, this little trick works for every agency. So if you're wanting to find out how to do business with the city of La Mesa, or you want to find out how to do the business with the city of Nashville, Tennessee, you can simply put in this phrase, how to do business with, enter the agency name, and add the word purchasing. And that is going to take you directly to their procurement page, where you can learn a little bit more about who the buyer is. But for now, let's start out with the state of California. When we get to the state of California, there is a ton of information. The state of California portal has a ton of information. It's a great portal to do research in and learn. They've got some really great resources and trainings. For this purpose, because right now we're focused on one task at hand, and that is finding the buyer. So what you want to do is you want to go to Find Public Information right here. And you can search for all of these different portals here. Now, the first one here, bid opportunities. These are the opportunities that have been posted to the public for bids. We don't care about that right now. Right now, we're focused in on the buyer. So we want to go into past purchases. This is called for short SCIPPers, States Contracting and Procurement Registration System. The government loves their acronyms. And when we get to the certification module, oh my gosh, it is like an ABC XYZ nightmare. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to click on this link, and that's going to bring up the SCIPPers portal that we can search. What I can do here is I can do advanced search, and I'm going to click on this magnifying glass right here. And we're going to do a description. So the state of California utilizes what they call the UNSPSC classification system. We mentioned the NICS codes in one of the previous module. This is another code system. Don't bog yourself down with this yet. What we can do is we can search this just using a very generic description. So the description I'm going to use here for this is I'm going to use the word computer. So in the past, I've used, what did I use? I used marketing. I used remediation services. So this time I'm going to use the word computer. And I'm going to take a look, and I'm just going to pick one of these. Let's go here. Computer equipment and accessories. And now I'm going to search. Now what this is going to do, you'll know that it's working. I'm going to pull my little face down here. Because see up here in the upper right-hand corner, you see the circle of death? That means the system is thinking. This system, what we're asking to do is we want to identify or find out all the actual purchases made by the state of California that have been classified under this code, which includes computer equipment and accessories. So it's going to think at this point, what you do is you go grab a snack or a glass of, wine or coffee or whatnot. For me, I'm just going to take a little sip of my smoothie. The crazy part about doing this type of stuff is you literally can spend half your day watching the circle of death. So let's do this. While we're waiting for the state of California to comb through all of that data, because it's combing through 7 years worth of purchasing, let's go in and see if we can do some additional searching. Let's do how to do business with the city, of Carlsbad, and add the word purchasing. Again, that's going to bring us right to their procurement portal or their procurement website or web page. Depending on the size of the agency will determine how robust their page is. There are some really great portals. There are some not so great portals. That's the nature of the beast. But here we are with the city of Carlsbad, right at their purchasing webpage. And right at the top, we see the city of Carlsbad uses Planet Bids as their bid management system. So a little lesson on Planet Bids, or I should say any third-party bid management system. So when a public agency has a requirement to publicly announce opportunities, they will do so utilizing an internal system if they have one, like the state of California has their own internal system, or because creating those internal systems is very expensive, or the agency will contract to a third-party bid management system. There are thousands of these. Planet Bids has become one of the more preferred third-party bid management systems. And there's a couple of nuances. Every single third-party bid management system has 2 points of entry. One point of entry is directly through their portal, planetbids.com. When you do that, you register, and then Planet Bids, through their direct portal, wants you to pay them a subscription to be registered in all the other portals. Do not pay. You do not need this. You want to go directly to the portal or the web page for that particular agency. In doing so, you will get access to that agency's information at no cost. Now, one thing that's a little unique with Planet Bids is that when you register or go to the city of Carlsbad Planet Bids, the URL has this number in it up here, 27970. That link, that URL is exclusive to the city of Carlsbad. So when you register with the city of Carlsbad Planet Bids, you are not registered with any of the other agencies that uses Planet Bids as a third-party bid management system. So in essence, you have to register with each and every one. But you're not going to do that yet, right? Because we learned in the last module, before you register, before you get certified, make sure that the buyer is viable. So here we are, City of Carlsbad vendor portal. I am not logging in. I have not created an account. You have the same exact access as I have without having to jump through any hoops in registering. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the bid opportunities and I'm going to click on that link. Honestly, I don't care about any of this. None of it. What I care about is identifying and finding my buyer. So what I'm going to do here with this portal, and I don't care what's open, is I'm going to go into the categories. And let's do this. Let's do landscaping. So I'm going to click on landscaping. I'm going to save it and I'm going to search. So what I'm asking this portal for the city of Carlsbad is I want to know all of the opportunities that have been announced that have been classified under landscaping services. Again, I don't care about any of these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this. And this is the information that I want you to gather. I think like tech people would call this data mining. So you're actually going to data mine this information. Here's what I want you to focus on. Number one, this is a purchase for landscaping services. Number two, right here, Shay is your buyer. Shay, with the city of Carlsbad, is responsible for purchasing at a little pause there because my dogs were barking, landscaping services. Now, okay, what do we do with this? Well, first of all, Shay would love to buy landscaping services from you. She would, but she can't. And the only reason why she can't right now is because she doesn't know you exist. Now, she won't buy from you because she doesn't trust that you can perform. So in our marketing module, we're going to learn how do we get Shay to know that we exist, and how do we prove to Shay that we're going to be responsive and we're going to perform. So hold these thoughts, because right now, all we're trying to do is identify buyers. So if you provide landscaping services and you're watching this module, I want you to jot down Shay's information, because you just found yourself a buyer. Easy, right? Another thing I want to show you, and not all bid portals do this, but another thing I want to show you is right here where it says prospective bidders. When I click on this, this is going to give me a list of what we call what they deem as prospective bidders. And that's not entirely true. This list is really a list of entities that have downloaded the bid documents. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're prospective bidders. For example, sometimes you'll see Cheryl Brown on this list. That's because I downloaded the bid documents for one of my clients. I'm not a bidder, I'm not a prime, but because I downloaded the bid documents, my name's going to be listed there. Remember, government contracting, public record. But for those that are in the industry, so for example, right here, 4 Leaf Inc., they are a prime contractor, they are a bidder, and you'll see you have a name here, Rachel. You have a phone number, and you have an email. Now, supposing you're really small, or maybe you only provide a certain aspect of landscaping services, so you're looking for a prime contractor. Well, why not call Rachel? And so I'm going to do the same thing as I mentioned with Shay. Rachel would love to subcontract with you, but she can't because she doesn't know you exist. And she won't. She doesn't trust that you can perform. So this is another way that you can find actual points of contact for potential prime contractors. So let's go back to the state of California portal. Let's see if it's figured out or stopped thinking. Yay, it has. So if you recall, we did a little bit of an example in one of the previous modules about the acquisition methods and what they all mean. So now with this module, what we're doing is we're finding a buyer. The information we have here that is important is, let me do some drawing here if I can. Here we have the department name. And I can't scroll that way. Most importantly here, I scroll all the way. You have the buyer name and the buyer email. So if you supply, what did I do a search for? I can't even remember. If you supply computer equipment and accessories, you know from this information here that the California Health Exchange or Health Benefit Exchange Department procures computer equipment and accessories, and Nancy is the buyer. Just like with Shay and with Rachel, we have found a buyer. So if you are in the computer supply industry and you're watching these modules, here is a list of 200 potential buyers. Now, there are some duplicates, but it's still quite a few buyers. What you can even do with this list, I don't recommend, please don't do it, downloading it. Do not download. It'll crash your Excel. But what you can do is you can highlight this list, copy it. Let's see here. Here's what happened here. Oh, I can't get to Excel. Anyway, this isn't working for me, but I apologize. You can copy this list, paste it into an Excel spreadsheet, and now you have a listing, and you can then remove duplicates. You can do all that good stuff. Or you can just keep this open and start reaching out. Now, what if, because we don't have a phone number here, what if you wanted to find out the phone number? Well, here's where it gets a little bit creepy. If you take their email address, let's go back into Google. Again, Google's your friend. And we take her email address and put it in parentheses, and we search this. Then we can scroll down a little bit. And here we go. There's her phone number. Now, this doesn't work all the time, but 9 times out of 10, it'll work. So these are a couple of different ways you can find your buyers. Now, what about the federal market? Well, the federal market's a little bit tricky because their program, their system called SAM, System for Award Management, is terrible. I can't believe a system has gone from bad to worse, but it has. So I'm just being upfront. So if I've got the SAM, the SAM technical writer person, web designer, and you're mad that I'm calling it terrible, give me a call. We can talk through these things because it's not very user friendly. But that's a whole other topic for a whole other module. If you want to find buyers in the federal market, you can go into SAM and you can search. And this time what you're going to do is you're going to search contract opportunities. And in this search here, again, we could do the product or service. We can do, let's do educational services. And now, I mean, we can definitely drill down a little bit more, but I don't really care about that. What I want to do is I'm going to click on here. I'm going to show you the information that is going to be important for you. So first and foremost, you have your department. This is the Department of Agriculture. The sub tier is Forest Services. We're scrolling down, 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 down. And there is Jessica. Right now, you have a name of a federal buyer, but you have no idea if Jessica buys your product or service. So now what we have to do, we've got to reach out to Jessica and ask. Stay tuned on how to do that when we are in module, I don't remember what number it is, module on marketing, because we're going to show you exactly how you can do this step by step make it nice and easy. That's how you find your buyer. This works for all government agencies. So what I recommend, start with the state of California. Start playing around in it. I promise you, you're not going to break the system. Be careful that you don't go too far down the rabbit hole. And feel free to rewatch, rewind, replay, whatever you want to do, and follow along. What I recommend most of my clients to start with the state of California or the state that you're in, then go into the county in which you are, and then take a look at the local municipality and the local school districts. Start there. All you have to do if you're not quite sure how to get there, simply put in that search, how to do business with the state of California, the state of Texas, the state of Massachusetts, the state of Colorado, and then add the word purchasing. And that's going to bring you right to their procurement portal, where you can then do a little bit of digging and identify buyers. Same thing with your local municipalities, how to do business with the city of Denver, purchasing, the city of Sacramento, purchasing. Something to notate as well here when you are looking at buyers or finding buyers. Most of your buyers are not going to be demographically located where you are actually at. So for example, the state of California buyers, most of them are going to be located in Sacramento. For the federal buyers, they can be all over the country. So don't let their location, their physical location, deter you from reaching out to them. Because even though they're not physically here, it doesn't mean that they're not purchasing for their buildings or departments within your local reach or your demographic reach. Frequently asked questions on finding your buyer. How responsive are the buyers? They're not. They're not. When we get to the marketing module, we'll talk a little bit more about how you can like break that cookie and how you can negotiate and try to get them to respond. But yeah, they're not very responsive because you know why? They don't have to be. And I know that's rude, but it is what it is. Official titles, well, it depends on the agency. We talked a little bit in last module about some titles, but common titles for buyers are contracting officer, contract administrator, contract specialist, buyer 1, 2, and 3, procurement advisor. Those are typically the general titles. In this environment, a lot of questions I get, and we will talk a little bit more about this when we get to the marketing module, is, what about searching for them on LinkedIn? This is a big fat no. No. These buyers are not on LinkedIn. And if they are, they're most likely looking for another job. If they are, they're certainly not going to respond to you. Do not use LinkedIn in a way to connect with these buyers. It's not effective and it's a waste of your time. So I found a buyer, but there's no contact information. Ooh, good question. Google is your friend once again. Let's do a little search here. So I'm going to go back into Google here. And let's take a look and see. Maybe, let me take Nicholas. Now I know we have Nicholas's email here, but so Nicholas is with, which department is he with? He is with the Department of Justice. But supposing we didn't have Nicholas's information. You go to Google and in quotes, put his name and then put in the department that he's with, Department of Justice, and let's include California. That's where you're going to get all of your information. Scary. I know. It's a little creeper-like. But once again, with government contracting, it's all public record. You just need to know where to find it. Sometimes you have to dig a little bit. I don't recommend you taking that much time to do that, especially where you have a lot of other information that's easily accessible. I love this question because if this was the case, it would be way too easy. Oh, I missed question 4. I found buyers. Now what do I do? Sit tight and watch module 5 because that will be the next step. But now we have them. Now my favorite question, and I get this all the time. Isn't there just a list of buyers? No, there is not. If there were, it would make things way too easy. Every agency has their own buyers. Every agency has their own portal. There is not one single portal for all. Also, buyers are typically rotated out every 2 to 3 years. So the buyer you found today is probably not going to be the same buyer that you are going to be working with 2 to 3 years from now. This is why it's extremely important to continue to maintain communication and good rapport and marketing, which we will go into great detail during the marketing module. So don't worry. So right now that you found your buyers, just hold tight. Module 4 homework. Find some buyers. Create a list of 10 buyers. Now, again, I recommend a couple from the state, a couple from the county, a couple from your municipality, and then a couple from your local school district. Start there. Start there. This is not a sprint. This is a full-on marathon. Imagine if you had 10 buyers, which you're going to have after you do your homework, and imagine if all 10 of those buyers end up being viable for you. Right there and then alone can make a huge difference to your bottom line. Step 1, find some buyers. This is something that you can do while you are waiting to get scheduled with an advisor. If you have difficulty with it, it's okay because we're going to help you with this as well if needed. But give it a shot. Do some research. But most importantly, don't get too wrapped up. What I recommend is so you don't get lost in this rabbit hole, set your timer for 30 minutes and start collecting names. Don't drill down. Don't try to figure out what they've bought, how much they've bought, all that. No. All you want is the agency, the department, if applicable, their name, their phone number, and their email. That's it. That's all that matters right now. Baby steps. Oh, was that fun? Did you like that? It's one of my favorites. You have made it through module 4. You're almost halfway through. Almost. This module is all about finding your buyer, keeping it simple. The next module is what are you going to do with those buyers now that you found them? And we're going to talk about the next step, which is this the right buyer or entity for me? So what you'll do is you'll click on or go to our website. You're going to go to the government contracting series. And then from there, you're going to click on module 5. Is this the right buyer or entity for me? As always, I know it's module 4. You've heard the same intro and the same closing, but I want to stress, you do not have to wait if you have a time-sensitive need. If you need assistance right away, please do email us. We will support you and assist you. And once we're done dealing with that, we're going to send you back to the modules. Keep in mind, this process is a process. And so far, you've made it through module 4, the most fun module. Module 5 is going to dig a little bit deeper to tell you to see if whether or not the people you identified are a good fit for you. So, without further ado, I'll see you next time.